Human history is built on the arrogant belief that we can tame anything, turning bloodthirsty wolves into obedient pets lying under our tables. But that is a fatal mistake. There are creatures out there that are not tamed. They are just pretending. They learn to wag their tails to be invited in, and when night falls, they stand on two legs to watch you sleep with an intellect far beyond an animal's. Before I expose their true faces, comment your city name below right now. I need to know if tonight your home falls within the hunting zone of the four-legged imposters, the subway monster. This video was recorded by an anonymous passenger on a New York City subway train at midnight, when the line between reality and nightmare is at its thinnest. Here we witness an absurd scene. An elderly woman dressed simply in a headscarf and brown coat, standing as calmly as if she had just returned from the market. But what she is walking is not a pet dog, but a monster stepped right out of the most brutal pages of a Brothers Grimm fairy tale. Look closely at this creature. Its size far exceeds any domestic breed, standing chest-high to the woman, possessing a massive body covered in thick, matted black fur like a lion's mane. But the most haunting feature is its face. Its small glowing eyes are full of menace, set upon a snout that is unnaturally short and wide. The jagged fangs protrude chaotically and illogically, looking more like a failed taxidermy experiment than a living organism. It evokes the image of Fenrir, or a Dogman from legend, restrained only by a chain that is laughably thin. Why can a frail old woman control such a monster in a public space? Her eerie calmness stands in stark contrast to the beast's ferocity. Is this a sophisticated animatronic, a work of CGI? Or is she truly a keeper, walking a pet of the underworld through the heart of the city? If that chain snaps, this subway car becomes a slaughterhouse in an instant. The predator's grin, the suburban hyena. In a normal, sun-drenched American neighborhood, a cameraman accidentally caught a gaze watching him from atop a high concrete wall. It is a dog, or at least a creature trying its absolute hardest to look like a friendly canine. Look closely at the facial structure of this creature. The large, upright ears and the gaunt face with bulging eyes create an eerie and terrifying resemblance to a hyena, specifically Ed, the crazed henchman of Scar from the movie The Lion King. It doesn't bark to protect its territory, nor does it growl to threaten. It just stands there, front paws gripping the ledge, and smiles in silence. This is absolutely not the happy panting typically seen in dogs when greeting strangers. This is a frozen artificial smile, with jaw muscles stretched back unnaturally, bearing white teeth but masking the aggression behind those squinted eyes. It stares down at the cameraman with a chilling intensity, as if analyzing the prey's reaction. You might think it's being friendly, I don't. In the natural world, baring teeth is usually a signal of a threat or a warning. But in the world of mimics or skinwalkers, this smile is a psychological trap. It is imitating human expression to lure you into lowering your guard and approaching that wall. Behind that goofy, dazed look, I bet there is a cold calculation. Come up here and play with me. I promise I won't bite. At least not until you turn your back. The headless one on the grass. This image first appeared in a cryptic thread on Reddit and immediately caused an uproar due to its shivering absurdity. The setting is not a dark dungeon, but a sun-drenched backyard with lush green grass where a creature with the physique of a dog sits relaxing. But look above its shoulders. Nothing. Completely empty. Where a head with eyes, a nose, and flopping ears should be there is now only a round, smooth, and truncated mass of flesh. The most haunting detail, the one that pushes this image beyond the realm of a prank, is the scar running along the skin covering that stump. A jagged, wrinkled line of stitching with crude needlework, looking like the aftermath of a brutal amputation surgery that healed long ago. The skin around the scar is reddish, evoking a sense of life, of warm blood flowing beneath, not plastic or stuffing. What makes this photo scarier than darkness itself is its calmness. It sits there, hind legs folded, posture stable and relaxed, as if the absence of a head, the center of all senses, does not affect its existence in the slightest. It is not bleeding. It is not thrashing in pain. Logic tells us this could be a technical glitch from a panoramic photo or a forgotten horror movie prop. But intuition screams something else. If this is a living creature, then this world has become too terrifying. How does it breathe without a nose? How does it eat without a mouth? Or is it a zombie revived by some dark science, a dog that needs no brain to be loyal and no eyes to watch you? Its very existence is an insult to creation. The cursed family photo. At first glance, this looks like a funny family blooper. A white pit bull sitting on the sofa with the posture of a middle-aged man, flashing a smile that stretches from ear to ear. But hold your laughter. Look closely at its jaw muscles. That is not the happy panting of a dog. The facial muscles are stretched to the limit, revealing rows of teeth that are clenched tight, while the eyes stare wide open without blinking. A mimicry of human emotion that is so distorted and artificial it induces nausea. The telling detail lies with the child standing behind the sofa. His face is devoid of joy. It is dazed, confused, and slightly terrified. That expression mirrors yours and mine right now. A subconscious realization that the thing sitting in front of him is no longer the pet he knows. But wait, don't let that grotesque smile distract you. The real danger isn't sitting on the couch. Look into the pitch-black corner behind the child just over his right shoulder. Do you see it? A looming shadow, and peering from within are two faint, glowing spots, the eyes of a hiding entity. My theory: this dog is not the skinwalker. It is the victim. It is being controlled by the thing in the darkness. That entity, perhaps a true skinwalker or a shadow person, is using psychic influence to force the dog to sit up and smile like a meat puppet, mocking the humans staring into the lens. The child feels the cold breath on his neck. The dog is paralyzed in an unnatural pose, and we are merely helpless spectators. The eyes of death. This video was recorded by a security guard on night patrol in an abandoned industrial zone in Detroit, Michigan. The initial setting is pitch blackness, swallowing all light except for two cold, white, glowing dots floating in the distance. At first, it looks like the headlights of an oncoming motorcycle. But there is no engine sound. Only the whistling wind and a chilling silence. Those two glowing dots move at a terrifying speed, growing larger and hurtling straight toward the camera like guided missiles locked onto a target. And then, in the final split second as it breaches the weak beam of the flashlight, the identity of the assassin is revealed. It is a jet-black canine, possibly a German Shepherd or Belgian Malinois mix, but its size and aura far exceed that of a normal animal. Its eyes glow ghostly bright, due to the tapetum lucidum reflection, but instead of the usual green hue, they are stark white and soulless. It doesn't bark a warning, it doesn't growl. It just charges like a black tornado. This is the embodiment of the hellhound or black shuck legend in Western folklore, harbingers of death appearing from the void. Did the witness survive to upload this footage, or was the camera found next to a pool of blood? The absolute focus in the beast's eyes suggests, once it has seen you, the hunt only ends when one of you falls. The stretching dog. This next haunting footage was extracted from the dash cam of a car parked overnight in a desolate alley in Mexico. The timestamp reads 2:33 a.m., the hour of wandering spirits. It begins normally with a skinny stray dog walking along the cold concrete road. It suddenly stops, eyes reflecting the streetlights with a cold, stark white glow as it stares directly into the lens. It appears to be checking for observers. Once convinced it is alone, it commits an act that blasphemes biological laws. Observe its legs. It shudders, bowing down as if seizing. Then a horrific scene unfolds. Its front legs do not lift, but elongate directly. The tibia and femur bones seem made of rubber, slowly stretching irrationally. It isn't standing on hind legs like a circus trick. It stands on all four, yet its height has doubled. Its body transforms from a normal dog into a spindly creature resembling a giant spider or a clumsy stilt walker. Its elongated shadow cast on the pavement confirms this is a physical entity, not a glitch. Why do this? Perhaps this mimic entity feels the dog's skin is too tight, needing to stretch, so the misaligned bones inside find relief. Or more terrifyingly, it is rehearsing skeletal alteration for its next larger form. Watching it stand starkly in the road with those grotesque limbs, I wonder if the car owner dared to review this tape the next morning. The sleepwatcher, the transformation in the night. This leaked home security footage will undoubtedly make you consider locking your bedroom door tightly tonight. The setting is a quiet room at midnight, where a girl is fast asleep, completely unaware of the presence of her pet lurking in the shadows. It begins when a dark figure appearing at first like a large dog moves at the foot of the bed. But it does not curl up to sleep. Instead, it begins to alter its physical structure. From a quadruped, this shadow slowly rises. Its joints seem to slide over one another, stretching and rearranging to form the kneeling posture of a human being. This process happens in absolute silence, with no growls or sounds of breaking bones, just the terrifying smoothness of a master mimic. Look at the thing kneeling beside the bed now. It is no longer a dog. It is a pitch-black humanoid entity with a curved back and arms hanging loose or resting on its thighs, its head bowed close to the owner's face. It watches every breath the girl takes with a morbid curiosity, like a researcher observing a test subject. It sits there motionless as a stone statue for a long period, simply waiting. The horror peaks when the girl suddenly wakes up, perhaps sensing the coldness from that gaze. Her survival instinct screams instantly. She bolts up and flees the room in sheer panic while the creature remains calmly seated, making no move to chase. It had achieved its goal, letting the prey know it was there. The most haunting question is, was this the first time it did this? Or has it sat watching her sleep like that for hundreds of nights prior without her ever knowing? The Pennywise poodle, the bipolar face. This video captures a gray merle poodle sitting quietly on a living room rug. At first glance, it appears to be just an expensive pet with curly fur. But as the lens zooms in, you realize that nature or some other force has sculpted this face with cruel intent. The creature's face seems split into two distinct emotional extremes, a terrifyingly perfect asymmetry. Look at the left side of its face. The facial muscles contract, the corner of the mouth curls high into a distorted manic grin, exposing white teeth. The eye on that side squints, radiating cruelty and pure madness, instantly reminiscent of the dancing clown Pennywise from IT luring prey into the sewer. In contrast, the right side of the face is perfectly still and cold. The eye is wide open, piercing, holding a wisdom and age that is biologically impossible for an animal. It is not smiling. It is observing, calculating, and judging the camera operator with the mind of a master strategist. This combination creates a horrifying psychological effect, a crazed killer being restrained by a superior intellect. Is this a mimic experiencing a technical glitch in synchronizing human facial expressions? Or is it deliberately showing its owner the two alter egos, a mad beast and an ancient soul fighting for control of that small body? Whatever it is, never leave it alone with children. The Golden Conspirators. This incident occurred at a family home in suburban Columbus, Ohio. The homeowner returned from a night shift to find his expensive flat-screen TV in the living room knocked over and shattered for no apparent reason. Furious, he pulled the security footage to find the culprit, convinced a burglar had broken in. But what he saw was far more terrifying than a robbery. At 3:14 a.m., the family's 2 golden retrievers, a breed known for being goofy and friendly, did the unthinkable. They weren't sleeping. They were standing. Look at this image. The 2 animals are standing completely upright, on their hind legs, facing each other in the corner of the room, right by the doorway. Their posture is eerily stable and balanced, unlike the playful jumping typically seen in dogs. Their center of gravity is shifted to their hips and thighs, perfectly mimicking the human standing structure. But what chills the viewer to the bone is their body language. The front paws of the dog on the right are placed on the shoulders of the one on the left, their heads leaning in close, as if they are whispering to one another. They look like 2 middle-aged men having a deep conversation, or, more disturbingly, counseling each other on a plan. It seems their debate got heated accidentally, knocking over the TV. Are they discussing dividing up the territory in the house? Or is the one on the right reassuring the other, "Be patient, our time is coming"? When the lights go out, what do these best friends really do in your living room? Dogman chases homeowner to front door. This doorbell camera footage from suburban Michigan captured the moment when the line between life and death became thinner than ever. Look at this young man's face. That is not haste. That is survival instinct, screaming in desperation. But the true horror lies behind him. Right on the concrete walkway, under the sickly yellow light, a looming dark figure stands. It possesses glowing reflective eyes, coldly observing the prey attempting to escape. This creature stands upright on 2 legs like a human, but its stillness and massive physique radiate the killing intent of an apex predator. The most terrifying part happens right after this frame. Realizing the prey is about to slip away, the creature does not chase like a man. It immediately drops its center of gravity, switching to a quadrupedal stance to maximize speed and lethal force, a trademark characteristic of the Dogman. The moment it lunges and presses its hairy face against the lens, just as the door slams shut, is a brutal reminder. Your front door is not a safety finish line. Never turn your back on the darkness and think you are safe just because you see the porch light. For this creature, the few meters from the gate to the house are more than enough for it to tear you apart before you can even get your key in the lock. The Dogman MMA fight in Elkhorn, Wisconsin. In a suburban backyard in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, the homeowner started filming thinking they were watching 2 stray dogs fighting. Look at the technique at 005. Normal wolves or dogs bite and snap. They don't grapple. But these 2 are on the ground using their limbs to wrestle for position. They are using the wooden fence for leverage, pushing and shoving like Greco-Roman wrestlers rather than wild animals. When the fight ends, one creature yields and the winner stands up. Look at this frame. It doesn't return to all fours to pant. It rises onto its hind legs, towering over the defeated rival, looking almost human. The posture is dominant, arrogant, and terrifyingly bipedal. Real wolves don't use submission holds, and they certainly don't stand up to gloat like a prizefighter. This is primate behavior in a canine body. If your backyard becomes an arena for these things, don't tap on the glass to break it up. Close the curtains, lock the basement, and pray they don't want a spectator. The upright hound in Door County, Wisconsin. This was allegedly snapped in a backyard in Door County, Wisconsin, just seconds before the photographer dropped their camera and ran for their life. Focus on the subject. At first glance, your brain tries to tell you it's just a big wolf or a stray hound. But look at the posture. Canines do not stand like that. This creature is balancing perfectly on its hind legs, its front paws dangling loosely like human arms. The knees are bent in that classic unnatural digitigrade stance, ready to launch forward. It isn't rearing up to reach a bird feeder. It is standing to look you in the eye. And that face, that isn't a confused animal caught in headlights. Look at the teeth bared in a rictus grin. It looks almost amused. It knows it doesn't belong in a suburban backyard, and it finds your terror hilarious. This is a biological mockery, a predator wearing a dog suit that doesn't quite fit. A dog stands on 2 legs to beg for a treat. This thing stands on 2 legs to size you up for dinner. If you see a hound walking like a man, don't whistle for it. Lock the door and load the shotgun. The sheep pen standoff, an infrared security camera at a sheep farm, captured this breathtaking moment. While the flock huddles together in fear, the brave sheepdog, appearing to be a Malinois or shepherd mix, is barking frantically to protect the livestock. But its opponent is neither wolf nor bear. Look at the thing sticking its head through the barn window. It is a Dogman. The difference between these 2 creatures is stark and brutal. The domestic dog, even in its most agitated state, retains the natural wildness of a canine snout, pointing up to bark, body agile, and eyes glowing bright with anxiety. In contrast, the Dogman radiates a calculated evil. Its head is twice the size of the dog's, with a rugged skull, and pointed ears standing erect like antennas. Its eyes also reflect light, but they are smaller and colder. The most horrific detail is the teeth. While the dog barks to warn, this monster bears its entire set of gleaming, white, jagged, and elongated fangs in a savage, static grin. It is not barking back. It is mocking the hopeless effort of the little dog. The structure of the Dogman's neck and shoulders also suggests it is standing on its hind legs on the other side of the wall, using its hands to grip the window ledge to peer inside. This is not a territorial dispute. This is a superior predator toying with its food before breaching the barrier. We have just walked through the evidence showing how thin the line is between animal and monster. Those twisted smiles, those unsteady steps on 2 legs, and those hungry stares through the window. That is not evolution. That is invasion. There's a theory that says, if an animal starts acting like a human, it is because it is jealous of our place. It watches, it mimics, and it waits for the chance to replace its master. So tonight, after you turn off this video and see your dog sitting in the dark corner of the room, ask yourself one question. Why is it unusually quiet today? Why does its shadow on the wall look so disturbingly human? And if it bares its teeth and flashes a smile that looks all too familiar, do not smile back. Do not call its name. Back away, lock your bedroom door, and pray that it hasn't learned how to turn the doorknob yet. Don't stop. Don't trust the appearance. I'm John. File closed.